I've always wanted to make coasters out of tree branches, so 6 months ago I stored a couple of pieces in my garage to dry out. So I take the branch and rest it up against the fence of my drop saw. Obviously a branch isn't as straight as a piece of timber, so you've just got to pick the straightest edge to rest against the fence of the drop saw. I cut the coasters to about 10 to 12 millimeters in height for each. Since I haven't done this before, I sort of winged it as I went along. The thickness of the coasters doesn't have to be perfect. I just find a spot on my drop saw that has a mark and work off that. I was already stoked on how they looked after cutting them on the drop saw. So I peeled off whatever loose pieces of bark were around each coaster. I didn't want to keep the bark on them because it's going to gradually fall off. So I want to sand that back as well, but still trying to keep a sort of natural look to them. I actually repeated this process twice. After doing it the first time, I then realized that it's probably a good idea to coat the coasters with some glue just to fill in any small cracks that might have formed, especially when you don't know exactly how the timber is going to react. Here's a before and after comparison from sanding. Ones on the left obviously have been sanded and ones on the right mostly haven't had the bark taken off them. I didn't putty these coasters because, like I said, I want to keep that sort of natural look. I just ran the orbital over each one with 120 grit sandpaper, and then I ran a 240 grit sandpaper over it, and then to finish off 320 grit by hand around the tops and bottoms and also around the edges. They came out even better than I hoped for. The next step was to clear them with a varnish. I coated these coasters with a gloss clear varnish. The first coat basically soaked all the way through, but I've done 3 coats of the gloss clear over these coasters and they've started to look really good. In between coats, did a wet and dry 1200 grit sandpaper just to get them pretty smooth, and I'm stoked on how they finished up. I hope you liked this video. If you've got any questions or suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments and I'll do my best to reply. For more of my work, you can check out my Etsy store, which is just Layor Woodworks. The link will be in the description. Thank you.